Hey guys, sorry about the last part. I kind of got messed up on that. The memory card got full, so I had to start over again. So, like I was saying in part five, this is a fun franchise here, Return of the Living Dead. I've always liked this one. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, it wasn't this one, but it was this one. This is actually, I think, my first horror movie I ever watched. Part two, Return of the Living Dead Part two. And that was actually in the late 80s. I was about 3 or 4 years old. But I remember this. The part I remember most is when the zombie hand got cut off in the car that they were driving. And when I watched this one again, it was like I watched it yesterday. The image got burned in my head. So I have a really special place for Return of the Living Dead Part 2. But Part 1 is better. I mean, it has a better story. It's just a better movie in general. It's a classic. For me, Part 2 has a special place. And Part 3 is a unique one. It took away a lot of the comedy that was in Part 1 and Part 2 and kind of made its own little thing. It was serious. It was a 90s horror. And a lot of 90s horror movies kind of started getting a little bit serious, but not all of them were serious, because we have Dead Alive that wasn't a serious movie, that was a comedy. But Return of the Living Dead was a little more serious. And then we had the newer ones that were, if I remember correctly, premiered on Sci-Fi Channel back in the mid-2000s. This is the Necropolis, and this is the Grave to the Grave. They were fun to watch. I mean, they're not as good as the first two by all means, but they're still good. And then you have one of my other earlier horror movies I remember watching when I was a little kid, probably also in the late 80s. The Gate. I remember this movie very well. It was a fun movie. One of the most memorable scenes in that one was when that kid got the eyeball in his hand and he had to stab it. I don't know, that scene got stuck in my head for some reason. I guess as a little kid, it kind of just freaks you out a little bit. And The Gate 2, this is a Canadian import by Alliance Atlantis, because it's not actually available here in the United States on DVD. But I got it really cheap, so it's all good. And Gate 2 is good sequel. And here's a really good franchise here that I hear a lot of people talking about recently. It's kind of like it's always been a cult classic, but it seems like a lot of people are really digging it lately, and that's Phantasm. And of course, this is the Anchor Bay one with the slip cover that a lot of people seem to be wanting. And I understand, because it is a nicer slip cover. It has a little embossed on it and stuff, and it's a good one. Anchor Bay, and they made an anamorphic widescreen compared to the original MGM one. So if you have a widescreen TV, it fills it up. And then the long-awaited Phantasm 2. Good God, I remember waiting so long to get this movie on DVD. Both this and Part 3. I mean, I even ordered Phantasms from England to get those, because I used to have a region-free DVD player, but I still have it. I just don't have it connected to my TV. But this is Phantasm 3. 2 and 3 are both good. The original kid that was in the first one wasn't in this one, but he came back for the third one. They're both good. I like Phantasm 2 and 3. And then you have Phantasm 4. This is not the Anchor Bay Phantasm 4. This is the MGM one. I may or may not get it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this one doesn't look that bad, but if I feel the need to get the Anchor Bay one, I'll probably get it sometime. But for now, this one's just fine. Since I'm not really that big of a fan of Phantasm 4, I don't really think it's necessary for me to get it on the Anchor Bay one. But I do have it, and it is anamorphic widescreen, so that's really the main thing I care about. And then you have these movies here. This is Prom Night. Prom Night's had a lot of interesting releases. I actually do have the Anchor Bay, the original Anchor Bay Prom Night. But I don't know where I put it. I think I put it somewhere else. But I kept it because it is an Anchor Bay DVD. And it was actually one of Anchor Bay's first DVDs. So I kept it for that reason. but it is non-anamorphic, and that was the reason why I got this one. And this is actually an Eco Bridge DVD. Believe it or not, Eco Bridge usually does pretty bad transfers, so this is probably one of their better movies they put out. I have to admit I was a little worried when I saw Eco Bridge was releasing it, but it ended up being pretty decent and actually looked better than the Anchor Bay, which is a surprise. It'll probably be the only time an Eco Bridge does better than Anchor Bay. And here's Prom Night 2. It's a fun movie. It's a great late 80s movie. And Prom Night 3 and 4, these are, I think they're almost like straight off a VHS tape, but it's fine to have them. And then the remake, yeah, and like again, I got this cheap. I got it at Hastings, and they always have some pretty good deals on used movies, so I got it. And another franchise I like a lot is Salem's Lot. It's a good franchise, a nice horror movie that was made for TV. And The Return of Salem's Lot. And this one's actually has a little more gore in it. It is rated R, and it wasn't made for TV. So this is actually one of those Warner Archives, so they're like a burn on demand. I have several of them. I'll show those in time. And another franchise I like, this is Ghoulies. They're cheesy, fun. Ghoulies 4. Ghoulies 3 isn't available on DVD yet. Probably never will be unless someone decides to release it. And here's Troll 1 and 2. It's a good double feature to watch with Ghoulies. I always kind of have them back, or a quadruple feature, I guess. If you watch Troll 2, Troll 1, Troll 2, and Ghoulies 2. But yeah, they're fun. And here's a really good recent movie, Descent. It's very good. I liked it a lot. And Descent 2 is a decent sequel. And here's some Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead's pretty fun. I always have good memories of that movie. Comes on Sci-Fi a lot. And Pumpkinhead 2. Another one that looks like it pretty much came straight off of VHS. Lionsgate's been doing that a lot with those old movies they have in their library. And here's Pumpkinhead Ashes to Ashes, another, I think it was a Sci-Fi original. And here's another one, another Sci-Fi original, Blood Feud. They're all fun. And here's another franchise I always liked, Night of the Demons. Very fun movie, good to watch for Halloween. They all are. Demons 2's another good one. Actually, some people like Demons 2 better. And then Demons 3. They're all fun movies. I definitely recommend anyone who wants to have a good Halloween night, watch Demons. Demons 3 is a little harder to come by, but you can easily get Demons 1 and 2. Candyman, very good, excellent movie. This is one of my earlier horror movies I watched too. Freaked me out a lot back then when I was a little kid. And Farewell to the Flesh. You know, I mean, the sequels aren't as good as the first one, but they're still enjoyable. There's Candyman 3. You know, and here's one of my favorite movies here. I love these. Creepshow. Creepshow's great. I've always loved Creepshow. It's a very fun movie to watch. It's a good one to watch around Halloween time. And Creepshow 2. I actually have more memories of Creepshow 2 because it is a late 80s movie, and you know, I watched a lot of the late 80s stuff more than the earlier 80s. But yeah, Creepshow 2, the raft scene, for some reason that one always got stuck in my head. And then Creepshow 3, a lot of people don't like it, and I understand it's pretty weird. And then the excellent Pet Sematary, Pet Sematary 2. They're all excellent movies. I like them. Some people may not like them, but I do. I think they're really fun movies to watch. And then another little interesting movie is Waxwork and Waxwork 2. These are fun movies to watch, and I totally advise anyone to find them if you can. Well, anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll come back for part 7. Thanks.